growing up, you obviously grew up in Colorado, and you grew up on a ranch. Now,
Hmm.
I want to know what that's all about. That hard manual labor, waking up early, going to bed late. Did that at all have any bearings on how it shaped you for football?
Oh yeah. So just a little backstory. So my mom was married to this guy who built fence for a living, barbed wire fence, and he would always be gone because these fencing jobs would be like 25 miles for the railroad, keeping cows off of the railroad and stuff like that. So he'd be gone, but he had a bunch of horses, cows, chickens, and stuff that was back home on our ranch. We called it a ranch. We had some acreage. It wasn't like a huge ranch. And who was the next man up? Well, that was me, and I wanted nothing to do with these animals. And so I had a responsibility that was placed on my shoulders that I didn't necessarily want, but it didn't matter because there was no excuses in our household, and you got to get it done. And it meant every morning taking care of them, come home, take care of them, and being in that environment, definitely learned how to work hard. And so it's definitely helped me, and it's translated to other things that I have going on in my life, and really helped me actually get out of that environment, because it gave me motivation to, like, I want something better for myself. I'm going to use my work ethic that I learned from that environment for the next thing.
So in high school, you rushed for over 5,000 yards, 70 plus touchdowns. You had about, I don't know, 600 or so yards in receiving. You put up good high school numbers worthy of a Division I scholarship. Yet and still, you got zero in terms of D1 scholarships, and you were not rated what, the rating systems and these rivals and blue chip
Yeah.
and all this sort of stuff. You are basically a negative zero in terms of the
Exactly.
ratings, but yet and still you wind up having an NFL career. How did that? Was it frustrating watching other guys get opportunities and you had to kind of scratch and claw and work your way up?
It wasn't really frustrating. And it goes back to the high school, because in my high school, super, super small high school, one stoplight town. And so if you're in that environment, what do you got to do? Like, you better absolutely dominate if you want to get noticed. So guess what I did? My senior year, 2,300 yards. I'm averaging 10 yards a carry, 43 touchdowns, like five, six touchdowns every single game. Absolutely dominating. And then, there was no one really from my school that was getting recruited to any other D1s. And so for me, it was just kind of like, oh, I guess, we're just not that, recruitable here. And so I ended up at a Division II school. But for me, it was the transferable things that I actually just talked about, with my work ethic at home that I was building up, that I applied to football. I left the day I graduated. I told you I was trying to get out of there. 17 years old, had my truck packed, went to graduation, threw my hat in the air, hugged mom, love you. I went and got a job up at college and started paying my rent and started working out with the team. I'm like, this is my next thing. Football, and my education are going to be my next opportunity. And so I immersed myself into both of those, because I didn't know what to expect. Wasn't ever thinking about the NFL. I grew up watching bass fishing and bull riding. I wouldn't talk about no damn NFL out there. Like, what is that? We'd watch the Super Bowl every once in a while. But for me, it was, okay, I'm going to use football to pay for my education. I had like a half ride and scholarship. There's no full rides in my Division II. So it was use football to get into some type of business degree and get into the business world. And I was able to do that well enough where after my junior year was still dominating, freshman of the year, All-American, academic All-American, took everything so seriously. My college head coach comes to me and says, hey, you might have an opportunity. You get some scouts reaching out to you. Mind you, not one player from my school has ever gone to the NFL. So I've never seen a scout. I don't know what these people look like. They're a figment of my imagination. I don't know what a damn scout looks like. Who do they talk to? What do they talk about? What do they want to know? And so I'm at Western, go through my 4 years there, continue to dominate, get a job offer from an oil and gas company. I'm going to jump into the business world, but I put the brakes on that because I had a bunch of teams come out my senior year and watch me practice. And I was like, okay, that actually might be a real opportunity. And so then I started immersing myself a little bit more into the football side.
And so then when you looked at it, once that year is over at Western, you didn't get invited to the combine. You didn't, you just kind of
None of that.
one of the situations where it's like, okay, here we go all over again. But how did you
Yep.
stay the course without getting? Because me, I probably would have got mad. I mean, I obviously didn't have to go through that situation, but I probably would have just said, you know what, man, I ain't got time for these people.
Right. So for me, it was, look, I don't know where my journey is going to go, but I do know I'm getting out of where I was. Right. I'm not where I was before, and that's what I'm looking for. I want something new, something I can start building. And when the NFL opportunity came and there was schools coming to watch me practice, that became really real for me. And just like I left the day I graduated, threw my hat up in the air, the day we finished our fall semester, I was like, okay, if this is a real thing, I'm putting every ounce of my energy into this thing. There is not one part of me that's not going in to try to take advantage of this opportunity, because this is not just to go play football. I'm not just out here playing football. This is my entire life has changed, my trajectory of my family, my finances, my social status, my networking. Like, I'm business minded. I'm like, I can build off of this. And so I dropped out before my spring semester and I went to Denver, Colorado, and I was just training. I was just training. I love the weight room. I'm always in the weight room. I have like this, persona of like pound for pound, like really strong. I'm insanely strong because I just live in the weight room. That's my therapy there. So I go and start working out and training with some of these pro day guys. And I'm stronger than all of these guys. I run with the small guys, but lift with the big guys. And I'm like, okay, like I can size myself up. That was the first time I really got around any Division I talent that was being recruited. And so then I was okay, like there is an opportunity for me. I can see it here. Ended up getting undrafted, signed by the Chargers, and it was the same mentality when I got there. It was, I'm putting every ounce of earth into me, and I treated it like it was life or death. I was like, my life depends on this opportunity. You have to make it work. There's no chance that you cannot make it work. And when you put yourself in that mindset and you put in life or death, you go about things differently. You have a different intensity that you bring to it. I remember being stressed out of my damn mind. I remember just crying because I'm like, I'm trying, like I'm putting everything into it. I'm not moving up the depth chart. I'm talking to my coach, like, bro, like, what do I got to do? I'm on my assignment. I'm doing the right thing. And actually, it was my coach that was my running back coach. Now was my head coach. And it was this thing where, hey, we have guys that were paid. These guys need to get more reps. They're going to get more reps. I was sixth string on the depth chart. You know how many six stringers make this, the team, it is 0. I'm getting 1-2 reps of practice. I might get some scout team reps out there. Those were my reps. When it was time to go full speed scout team, I was unstoppable. And that was my mind. And that's how I got noticed. So my head coach comes into a special teams meeting one time, and he looks at the scout team. He's like, who's number 3 out there? Because I'm hauling ass down the field. No one's stopping me. It's punt drill. I'm going to make a damn tackle. I've never tackled a man in my life. I've always played running back. But guess what? I'm run down on punt now. And so that was where I started to separate myself, because my intensity that I brought to football was everything. And it continued to compound. And still to this day, until that day, I guess, I never moved up the depth chart at all during all of my training camp. I was sixth string to the day I made the team. But every time I got an opportunity, I wasn't going crazy, but I did my job. I would make a few splash plays here and there, but that was what got me noticed. It was like, oh, this guy can contribute and we can work with this. So that was my story, and I kept that same energy, till this day, as you can tell.
We absolutely hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more from us, hit that subscribe button for all videos, full episodes, and exclusive content from the show. And don't forget to find All Facts, No Breaks on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.